Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, and yes, I am wearing the white scarf of irredeemable chutzpah. I can't help it because today we are talking about the latest effort on behalf of German radio, in this case SWR, to exploit the legacy of the late, legendary, indeed mythological, Celibidache, here with recordings of Haydn's Symphony No. 102 and Tchaikovsky's Pathetique, of which there are a few Celibidachean exemplars, none of which are particularly interesting, I might add, and this one included. But there's an overall point I want to make here, because these are mono recordings from 1959. Why are we listening to this crap? I mean, seriously. You know, the German radio archives are a two-edged sword. They have unbelievable quantities of stuff. They have their own orchestras, which in 1959 were nothing to write home about, including this one. I mean, they were at best. Okay, so they have this stuff. It's in their vaults, and they're under a lot of pressure to try and make money because they've been sucking it out of the public for generations. And the current government is saying, look, folks, because they are this enormous bureaucracy that has to support itself, so they need to exploit their treasure. But is it treasure? I mean, on any given day, at any orchestra in the country or in the world, you're going to hear a performance which is adequate, an adequate daily event. Is it worth preserving? Is it worth issuing on recordings? Does it represent an absolutely irreplaceable legacy that needs to be preserved at all costs? The answer, obviously, is no. Most of it is just junk. 99.9% of it should have been deleted the day after it was recorded. The only reason it exists is because it was recorded for broadcast and it was repeated, once in a while, and etc. Now, this guy, Celibidache, who looks terribly serious there, doesn't he? Yes, he does. He was never anything special until at the end of his life, when he created the cult of personality around his exceptionally slow and pretentious performances in Munich, the 0.1% of which were splendid, the 99.9% of which were dreadful, at least based on the recorded evidence. So what do we have here? We have mono recordings of Haydn's Symphony No. 102. There's nothing bizarre about the performance, more or less. In other words, his tempi aren't crazy. The introduction to the first movement is incredibly slow, but very atmospheric. That's okay. The orchestra sounds like it has no winds, timpani, or brass at all. All you hear are the strings. It is mushy beyond belief. There are no firm accents that really grip you. And I'm not even talking about by period instrument standards. I'm talking about by Leonard Bernstein or George Szell standards, or Eugen Joachim, or any of the people who play this music and do it with a firmness and a grasp and a textural transparency utterly foreign to this particular production. So, but the finale is really fast, incredibly fast. In fact, it's faster than they can play it. It's so quick that it has no articulation and no rhythm and it's just a scramble. Well, there you go. You could hear a scramble. Of course, the minuet is slower than molasses, and the slow movement is slow. Yes, okay, the whole thing's 26 minutes and 8 seconds. It's Haydn's 102 in the 1950s, completely uninformed, terribly unidiomatic. Now, once in a while, I have to do Haydn out of some sort of perverse sense of classical music obligation performance. That's what it is. Now we come to the Tchaikovsky. Well, the Tchaikovsky has its moments. It has some lovely things. The most interesting thing about the first movement is the fact that it has a climax, the big climax after the recapitulation, the big, huge climax before the love tune comes back, the second theme. Well, that usually rises to this enormous powerful da 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 ba 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 tippity crescendo, right? Well, no. Here the climax happens sort of in the middle of that phrase, like about a minute earlier. It's really kind of strange. It's interesting to hear it there, but it is kind of lumpish, and it kind of just fizzles out. And that's sort of the story of this performance. It fizzles. It's a fizzy, fizzle performance of absolutely no special personality, no special accomplishment, in rather raw, edgy sonics, because it's mono from 1959. I mean, it's tolerable broadcast quality, somewhat compressed mono. But why would anyone want to listen to this? Why? I mean, just why? Because this guy's doing it? You must be out of your mind. There's a million great Patatique symphonies out there. There's a million, well, not a million, but 5 or 6 really great Haydn 102s out there. I mean, there's no justifiable reason other than to try and make a quick buck to issue this. And so, I mean, it's not Celibidache's fault. He was just doing his job in his usual workaday manner before he discovered he could become a guru of something. But the white scarf of irredeemable chutzpah goes to SWR for attempting to exploit its legacy in this absolutely shameless way. It's offensive. I mean, you know, you've got your library of stuff. I know. Most of it's garbage. Find someone who knows where the good stuff is and issue that. I would have no problem with that. I mean, you can do it. Well, maybe they can't. I don't know. But this is a joke. I mean, and now, of course, there's going to be a contest, a irredeemable chutzpah competition between SWR and Bavarian Radio, because they have the Munich Celibidaches and these guys have the Stuttgart Celibidaches, because that's what this is. This is the Stuttgart Radio Symphony. And so we're going to be getting it from both sides, I have no doubt. And it's just insane. Absolutely insane. And there you go. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. You know, you're going to wind up with your own white scarf of irredeemable chutzpah. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.